friends, and welcome to another episode of OCB's Natural Edge. Sully here. Hey, listen, in this episode, we're going to continue with our features on OCB athletes getting ready for the OCB Yorton Cup with two really cool people being interviewed, Tracy Eutsler and Kristi O'Donnell. And Jodi is going to be interviewing them coming up. I'm going to do a couple of show coverages. We're going to talk about the Apex and the Salt Lake City. But before we do that, I would like to announce that the OCB Instagram page is now live. So if you want to follow us on Instagram, get the latest highlights, get some more updates, some more reels, ask us some questions or go one-on-one, our Instagram page is right there. So just pop on Instagram, start following us. And that way you can get all the latest, all the releases. You can ask us questions. This is where our questions from the field are going to start coming from. We just want to thank you for being a valuable part of the OCB and following Natural Edge and helping us bring you some of the best content we possibly can. And one more announcement, OCB Natural Edge merch is on the way. So stay tuned for more on that and follow us on the Instagram page to find out when, where, how, and what we will be selling for OCB Natural merch. If you got any ideas, pop them down in there in that Instagram page. Now, first show I want to announce is the OCB Apex Natural. Now that is promoted by Jackie and Magna McRae. There were over 60 pros competing in that event, all trying to qualify for the OCB Yorton Cup, along with about another 85 amateurs. So it was a really big event. Next up is the Salt Lake City Natural, and that was hosted by our very own Chad Austin. Now, this is the first year that Chad took over this event, and you got to watch these highlights. This venue is probably the best in the OCB. An amazing turnout of athletes. Great job, Chad. This show is only going to grow and grow and grow. And without any further ado, your Salt Lake City Natural.
Hey, my name is Finn Johnson. I'm a OCB Pro competitor, men's physique. Just got my pro card, and I just feel amazing right now.
My name's Josh Lim. I'm from Utah. I just won my pro card in classic physique. I've always been super into bodybuilding. I've loved it, wanted to compete. This is my first time competing, and we took the overall and got my pro card.
All right, now it is time for our interview with our two amazing champions. Jodi has them ready, primed up, ready to go. Next week, it'll be Aubrey's turn, and she will also be interviewing two other amazing champions with more follow-up and more build-up to the OCB Yorton Cup. Again, thank you for listening, and now on to our interview.
Welcome, OCB bodybuilding friends. I am thrilled to be your co-host today. And so I get to introduce two incredible bodybuilders today. Tracy Eutsler, and she is an OCB figure pro representing Team Franco Bodybuilding. She's a YMCA executive, wife, and mom. And Kristi O'Donnell, she's an OCB figure and wellness pro, and we will get to that. She has a BS in kinesiology. She's a certified personal trainer and group exercise instructor. So welcome, ladies.
Thank you.
Yes, you're welcome. So the goal, well, let me back up. The theme of this, because I know you both a little bit, at least, the theme of this, as I reviewed both of your Instagram profiles, is really transitions and crossovers. Oh my. I think you both have found your way into the bodybuilding world, and I can't wait to dive into that. I mean, things we know about prep. Yes, you'll be hungry. Yes, you'll be tired. Yes, we'll probably all at some point question, is my body ever going to get there? But the joy of these episodes is that we can give our viewers an inside peek into some of the not so obvious things. So we're going to get to those today. So Tracy, I will start with you. How did you get drawn into bodybuilding? And I'm going to want to know too, when you fell all in.
Okay, so great question. I'll go back a little ways. I'm going to say my adult life. I have had people question whether or not I compete. And in my 20s, my 30s, my 40s, no, I never thought about it. Honestly, I guess I had some misconceptions about what it took to compete in bodybuilding. Now, let me back up and say I don't think it's easy, but what I felt was important to me, the ability to enjoy life and the ability to have flexibility and the ability to eat and socialize, I thought that all had to be taken away in order to do something like this. And my 48 going into 49th year on this planet, my husband was mobilized with the Army Reserves down to what was formerly called Fort Hood, Texas. And when he left, the way that I was eating changed. I wasn't having to make full meals. I was eating more whole food focused, still exercising. I mean, I teach group exercise classes as well. Always been active, always had a good amount of muscle to my body, which is why I'd always get questioned if I competed. And things just over that course of the year, my body just started to change. I just naturally thinned out as far as loss of body fat. And when I went to Texas to meet him, to bring him back home a year later, that's when I was like, you know what, I'm going to be 50 this year. I should really look into, like, maybe getting ready for this isn't going to be as restrictive as I thought it would be. So we were literally in the car driving home from Texas, and I started searching bodybuilding. And there was somebody that I knew that had competed in bikini. So I'd reached out to her and asked if she had any recommendations on organizations, and she provided me with the OCB's name. And I started looking into it and found Joe, kind of went through a rabbit hole, and I reached out to him, and that was it. So that was in June of 2023, and by August of 2023, I was competing in my first show at the Presidential.
Nice. Good for you.
Wow.
Yeah.
Complete fast forward.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
but you'd done decades of work prior to that.
Correct. I wasn't just sitting at home not doing anything. I mean, I was exercising, teaching classes 6 days a week. Sunday was my day off. I always told my husband, I'm like, don't expect me to go to the gym on Sunday because I trained differently. I wasn't focused on building my body. I wanted to maintain muscle and stay healthy weight. But I know that we'll maybe talk about that a little later, so I won't get into it right now specifically. But yes, things have changed in the way I work out. But yeah, I was always active.
All right. Awesome. Awesome. And how about you, Kristi? How did you navigate your way into this sport?
It's really interesting. I started lifting weights when I was 12. My dad taught me to get stronger for softball because I was a competitive athlete. And then I went on to, I found Monica Brandt actually, and was fascinated. You maybe could say obsessed. She truly inspired me. And I thought maybe could I try gymnastics or dance because they didn't have figure then. So I went on to college and played Division I field hockey, always lifting weights, super healthy, eating really well, taking care of my body, and always in the back of my mind thought, maybe when this is over, I could try to slide into that. And ironically, after college is when figure kind of debuted. And I thought about it, but no one in the area really was doing anything like that. So I was very hesitant. And then a girlfriend and I were talking and she's like, I think you should totally do it. And I was like, okay. So in 2006 was the first time I stepped on stage and I was in figure. And actually Sully was the promoter. It was the Newbury Report.
How about that?
So it was very cool.
How about that?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. And when did you know you were all in? When did you know I had made, I made the right decision?
I think the first time I stepped on stage, I absolutely loved it. I loved the camaraderie. I had gone down and trained with Kathy Savage and her girls right before the show and met a bunch of girls and we had fun backstage and they were literally cheering each other on. You could be next to each other and they're still excited for you to succeed. And it was really such a wonderful experience. And I kind of felt like I found my people. So I did compete up until my husband and I wanted to start a family. So we had gotten married and started a family. And in 2023, I stepped back on stage. Sorry, I take that back. I had taken like 6 years off. Yeah. And came back.
But you know, we always say the stage will always be there. So this is a great example of, and Tracy, you said it, you want to be able to go live your life. I can't think of many better examples than starting a family, right? Like living your life and still being able to do the sport.
That was the thing. I had started back at the gym and personal training and group exercise, and I worked in orthopedics as well. So I was in a medical office in the meantime. And I remember thinking one day I started to get the bug again. And I mentioned it to my husband. I said, you know, I'm up and I'm working out before you or the kids. And then I'm home with everybody. I think I can do this. And he just he was a little hesitant, I think, but wanted to support me and was all in. And I've been able to make it work because it's so important to me at that stage was to prove to women that you can be a mom. You can work full time and you can still do something for yourself. And that became a big push for me. And it was love at first sight. And I was so happy to get back on stage.
Oh my gosh, that's fantastic. Yeah. That's fantastic. Thank you for sharing. Sure. And when did each of you win your pro cards, or your first pro cards?
So I got, at the presidential, my first show, I got the Masters Pro, and I also got the Open Pro. So I was double pro on my first show, so it was super exciting.
Nice.
And of course,
what a day.
I knew nothing about the sport, so I was like, what does this mean? It was cool.
And so what did it mean? So you won your pro card. I'm just curious to know a little bit more about, did you find that carrying over into your professional life or vice versa?
So with the one thing that this journey has done for my professional life, you had mentioned I'm a Y executive. Part of my job is in fitness. Actually, went to the University of Cincinnati and have my bachelor's in health promotion and education with an emphasis in kinesiology and exercise physiology. Movement and exercise and all of that has always been a big part of my life. But when I'm teaching classes or training other people, I like to go by experience. And so now that my training has evolved into what it is in the bodybuilding, and I'm developing a greater understanding of connecting mind and muscle and what you're looking for with certain movements, I really have started implementing that more into the instruction that I give. So that's one big way that it's made an impact for me and for my workday. But at the same breath, a lot of the ladies and men that I teach are super supportive of what I do, and they think it's absolutely amazing. So getting that pro card and then understanding what it means and having that, just saying that that you're at a point in your career, your journey, that you really, there's still room to grow, but that you have made it among the upper echelon of figure competitors and bodybuilders, that it really is special. So I embrace that, and I don't take it for granted at all.
That's absolutely wonderful. So you're both in environments where it's paying you back personally, and then you're passing that along to others and modeling and showing this is how it can be. You can take your body to places you didn't think possible.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. How about you, Kristi? You noticed some crossover, personal life or work
very
life?
much. Yes, I can relate very much. In college, we lifted very, very heavy because we were a Division I program that we were strong, powerful. So it's interesting at this phase of my life where I'm lifting, again, more mind-muscle connection and what muscles are doing what movements. And I instruct that way as well, which for a while, I kind of felt like I was alone. But the members and different participants really have engaged into that and really learned what muscles move in certain exercises and how to isolate. So it's been really great. And everyone in all of my places of work actually are very supportive, which is really, really nice. Really nice. But I have to say, I did want my pro card when I was in my 20s. I did not receive my pro card in my 20s. I actually was with the OCB, and then I went with NPC, and I competed within Fitness America. And then, but I knew when I came back to competing, and because there were only pro cards in a couple of those, but I knew when I came back that OCB was my home, and that's who I wanted to be with. I wanted to be a natural competitor. I just want to make sure that I want to teach everyone and let everyone know and inspire them that you can do this naturally and you can do this in a healthy way. And it doesn't have to control your life. So I earned my pro card, long answer. I earned my pro card in the main event in 2024 in April. So only a year. Last year was my first Yorton. That was my debut as a pro.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing. That's amazing. And so it syncs nicely because your Instagram profile is at the main MAINE Fit Chick. Yes.
It is. That's me.
And we'll be flashing both of your accounts over the screen. Definitely give each of these ladies a follow because you really have. You've lived your lives and really honored your passions and then made this beautiful transition into bodybuilding. So Kristi, to take that one step further, you transitioned not just into bodybuilding but also from figure to, you want to finish that story?
Yes. So last year at this time, I was preparing for the Yorton Cup to compete in the figure category. And I did, and it was a wonderful experience. Saw you, Tracy. I don't think we got to meet, but I saw you, admired you from afar. And when I arrived back home, I had been dealing with a shoulder injury that I kind of just was not paying too much attention to, just really wanted to get to the Yorton and then that I would deal with it after. And I had sustained I was in an accident a few years ago and had to relearn a lot of different things neurologically and with different areas of my body. And that is actually what prompted me to get going and get back on stage in 2023. But because of that, I couldn't work my lats. I couldn't make my back wider to go further in the figure category. And I truly never in a million years thought that I would be able to get on stage and do what the wellness and bikini girls do. I didn't think I had it in me. I'm actually very a shy, introverted kind of person. And you're there and you own it. And it is so liberating and it's so fun. So I didn't want to give up competing. And I thought about it, and I hadn't told anybody until I think it was January that I was actually preparing for a wellness division. But I normally am bigger in the legs and it's really hard for me to build my back. So it actually is a division that is kind of like home. I mean, it fits really well for me. And I'm loving it. Absolutely loving it.
How fortunate that category's just appeared at the right time then for you too.
Yes, it did. Kind of like figure had just appeared. So I could finally get into the sport itself. Yeah, it's So
Yeah.
it's been a great transition.
Oh, that's wonderful. So you totally made a challenging situation into some wins. I won't say win, it's multiple. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And so the conquering of the stage is great. I want to know a couple mindset secrets from each of you two, because it's not always, everybody sees the polished, we're in heels, the hair is done, the makeup is done, the physique is on point. But there are those moments, the tough training days or the low energy moments or the times where your mindset is a bit compromised. What's your go-to strategy for pushing through?
So
Tracy, would you like to go first?
sure, yeah. For me, I am I guess you could say like a rule follower, checklist kind of person, task oriented, right? So I'm not necessarily big picture. I'm like in the weeds, give me a job and I'll do it. So it's really great to have that. And that's one thing that I think that I've really enjoyed about this sport is that I have a purpose for doing something that I was doing, but wondering, why am I doing it? Because there are going to be those days where you don't feel like getting up to go work out, or you don't feel like eating healthy or clean. And you don't have to all the time, right? I mean, obviously, different stages of competition or in your life, if you've got a goal, then there are certain times where you're going to have to make those decisions. How bad do I want X? And in this case, it's how bad do I want to be able to get on stage and put my best body and performance forward? Is it going to be worth foregoing the tiramisu that was just at my lunch meeting today that I love? So you know what I did? I literally brought a box of it home from the meetings. There's so much extra food. But I froze it because when I'm not competing, I'm going to want some tiramisu. So it's just about determining how bad you want something. Believe me, when I was in college, I went through every version of eating disorder that you could go through, whether it was anorexia, bulimia, compulsive overexercising, because I was, and not that cheerleading promotes that. I don't want to say that does, but I was a Division I cheerleader at the University of Cincinnati, and it was you've got to earn your spot, right? So I ended up getting mono. 1 year, lost a bunch of weight, and then all of a sudden people are like, oh, work with me, let's try this stunt, let's do that. And so that fed into I need to maintain this, and I'm going to do it however I want, right, or however I can. So I gradually worked myself out of it. It wasn't to the point where I needed treatment, but I still have those issues. I mean, they never really go away. So the food as comfort for me is big, and when you're so restricted on prep, sometimes it gets really mentally straining. And last year's prep was so mentally such a struggle. So and this year it's not so much, and there's lots of reasons why, but you have to, when you hit those tough spots, you have to say, is it worth me continuing? Do I want it bad enough? And then you have to make that decision for yourself.
Fair enough. Fair enough. I did not know about your challenges with eating in college. As a Division I college cheerleader myself, I can relate, and I've shared my own story, but we do have some athletes who have faced that. So I love that you shared, because I do think it gives others hope out there. There is recovery, and there can be progress. Appreciate that. How about you, Kristi? What's a tough day example for you, or tough moment? How do you work through it?
It's interesting, Tracy, you comment on the tiramisu, because we just had a party at my house and my family, and my son has severe allergies, and my mom makes this special cake. And so instead of bringing the entire cake, she brought just a portion of it, and then we're freezing the rest of it so I can have it after.
Yes.
I can still enjoy it then. But I agree. I think that again, try to keep everything so it doesn't affect too many people in my family. So if we go out to eat, I'll just make a healthy choice and I will eat something. I won't have alcohol. I'll have a protein and green and make it work and not. I think early on when I was competing, I definitely was hyper focused on it and thought that was going to ruin everything for me, and have learned along the way how it's okay. It's okay to have that. It's not going to throw everything away and all your hard work. But I also can relate to the disordered eating of some kind. I went through various phases of different things, just being a woman and being a woman with muscle. And I was bigger than my friends. And it a lot of challenges. And then playing competitively in college. And then you just definitely face times in your life where it's challenging. And I myself also never received treatment or anything, but have been able to work through it and help others work through it and really try to help inspire and promote healthy eating. And so if there's a day that I, for instance, might want to have something for dessert, not this close to a show, but I may have had it.
Right.
But I gave myself grace and just kind of it's going to be fine. Everything's going to be all right, and moved along, but didn't hyper focus on it. And as far as the waking up, being exhausted and maybe not having it to go to the gym that day, I have just always been competitive with myself and wanting to set goals and just kind of grin and bear it. And I know once I'm even just moving that I'm going to feel better. You never regret a workout. You always feel better afterwards. So I just try to at least move on those days. But there are days it's tough. It is definitely tough. But I also know I'm not in it alone. I know there are some other competitors here at my gym, and you do your best. And I do it because I love it. I just ultimately love the sport. So there are days that are challenging, but we all make it through.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And man, talk about challenging. Tracy, you're actually amidst a peak week right now, and you had to face that tiramisu like on a peak week. That's unfair.
I know. But, they're eating, so Olive Garden catered. So there's the garlic breadsticks, there's the chicken parm, fettuccine. But here I am with my container of salad and tuna and my strawberries, So, but what's so funny is I've really come to like eating healthier, even when faced with stuff like that. This whole process, as I mentioned, last year's prep is different than this year's prep. I really think that I've grown and learned so much more in the last 2.5 years of going into my third season. I have such a healthier. I understand food and fueling my body so much more since working with the macros, and it's amazing. It's amazing. So it's definitely like I feel like I'm learning so much. I'm like a baby again and learning things for the first time. So this journey has been very fulfilling for me in my later years.
That's
I'm not
neat.
sure how you feel, Tracy, but I definitely feel like when I have been restricted or prepped too far out, that's when closer to a show, I really feel like I need something that I probably shouldn't have. But I feel like keeping it very just a variety and keeping healthy choices in there and not eliminating a food group and just slowly getting where you need to be, I feel stronger and honestly think it helps my physique a lot more going into a competition.
Yeah. And not just physically stronger, but mentally stronger, right?
Yes. Yes. 100%.
Yeah.
Definitely. Well, I appreciate that you both shared that there is some flexibility within the guardrails of prep. I think that's the common thread, and I can certainly appreciate that too, that it doesn't have to be all cod and spinach and nothing else.
Right.
And I can tell on us. So earlier in prep, Tracy and I and our husbands actually met out for a meal. We were technically in prep, but there was no food scale brought to that table. There's a time and place for everything in prep. So that perspective too, I appreciate that we can make the most of it and still be social. It's totally possible. It's totally possible. Yeah. Well, Kristi, I have to know, we're on the verge of the Yorton. As you prepare for this year's Yorton, what feels different about this prep compared to any of your past shows?
It's interesting because competing in figure, I've always had larger legs. So I'm typically training differently because I need to be symmetrical and not have a larger lower body. So my training has been so different because last year at this time, I was doing a lot of minutes, either walking or running
Okay.
or trying to get the size of my legs down because they were too muscular.
Okay.
And I need to hold on to that muscle. So this year, I am still doing cardio, but I'm very strategic about how and when I'm eating around that to make sure that I'm not compromising any muscle size. Because it used to drive bodybuilders in the gym crazy because I would have to strip down my legs. And they're like, why would you do that?
Right.
Because I need to be symmetrical. But now I'm kind of in a category that celebrates it and embraces it. And so it's nice that I can change my training a little bit so that I'm leaning out, but I'm not losing any muscle size. So it's,
Awesome.
I feel stronger. I feel a lot stronger.
Oh my gosh. I hear increased strength from both of you through this prep. So that's great to hear. I can't wait to see you both on stage. I can't wait.
Thank you. It'll be fun. Yeah.
Well, yeah, we're all in that prep boat right now, but it's going to be here before we know it. I keep telling Kristi, I keep seeing 2 weeks out, 3 weeks out kind of posts, and it's all of a sudden very real. So we'll all be there soon. All right, ladies. Well, I'm going to cap us off with just 3 rapid fire questions. Kristi, if you don't mind, I'll ask you to go first, but we'll do boom, boom, boom. All right. Okay. Any quirky or fun pre-show rituals that help you to feel calm and ready to shine on stage?
Historically, I've done my own hair and makeup. And I loved it. It was therapeutic for me to sit and take the time and do it. I have a friend coming with me this time who will do it, but I've always enjoyed that. Just that I think I'm a checklist kind of person, and that gives me a task and I work on that and distracted away from ultimately what's going to happen.
Great. How about you, Tracy?
So I mentioned I'm very task oriented, right? Checklist. So I get up in the morning before I go to bed the night before. I make sure I know exactly what time I need to be where and how much time I need prior to get in the foods that I need to get in. But I just enjoy that following and knowing that I'm doing exactly what I need to do. And I did start doing my own hair. I can't tackle the makeup yet. I'm gonna wait. Maybe next year I'll experiment with that. But yeah, doing my hair and just having kind of some quiet time in the hotel before you get out in amongst all of the energy.
That is nice because it is sensory overload. I completely agree with that.
There's something relaxing about having a methodical kind of routine as you get up in the morning with your food and everything lines up. And I didn't wake up late. I didn't oversleep. I just I'm typically ready way before I need to be. And it takes the stress away, I think. Some of it.
Nice. Yeah. Great solo time for sure.
Yes.
Right. What's one unique thought that you have about the sport, your preparation, or your nerves that you think is unique to you?
I don't know. I think in so many aspects of my life, I'm so type A and so like everything has to be done a certain way. And with wellness, especially, it's very gray. It's very fluid. It's very, however you're feeling, it's not rigid and have to be, in a box. I can be outside the box and be a little more creative, which is kind of fun.
Cool. Great answer. How about you, Tracy?
So I'm not going to say it's unique. I'm sure everybody is like this, but just the love of the performance. Maybe not the quarter turn part of it, because that's work, right? We're there working, but the opportunity to walk out for like individual presentation, I thrive on that. I mean, I love being on stage and I love smiling and I love trying to engage the audience and just make it a fun experience. So that's kind of my mindset is I look forward to that.
I love that. And I know I speak for a lot of folks out there. They can't wait to see you both on stage and see that individual walk. Yeah, another great answer. Last question for each of you. Kristi, you first. Advice for newcomers. What advice would you give to someone just starting in natural bodybuilding who looks at you as inspiration?
Well, I would be flattered, first of all. But second of all, I would recommend that they just take it slow. Try to tackle one area at a time, work on their workouts and then work on their nutrition. And then just this morning, I was posing with some newcomers and we broke it down from the feet up and just talked about let's work on our foot position. Then we'll work up the legs and they're already worried about their arms and where they're supposed to go. And like, just have fun with it. Just take a deep breath and we'll work on this. And then we go and we'll go into this phase and then we'll add on to this and make it your own. And so just enjoying every step of it, the prep, the months leading up to it, and especially the day of. Just try to take a deep breath and enjoy the ride for sure.
Great. Yeah. Super. Yeah. Each part is so long yet so fast. It's so worth enjoying it all. How about you, Tracy?
So
Advice for newcomers.
Yeah, I would very similar. I'm not sure if I mentioned it already or not, but when I got into this, I hadn't been to a competition. I hadn't watched any on YouTube until I had decided I was going to compete. I just didn't know anything about it. So if you want to just go in blindly, it'll work, right? Like I did it and everything worked out okay. But if you want to really make sure that you're putting your best foot forward on that first time on stage, like Kristi said, take the time and research it a little bit. Understand the poses. Work with a posing coach or a partner, like Kristi was saying. And because I look back at my first pictures that I sent Joe, and I was like, what in the what was I doing? And it was like ridiculous. But making sure that you hook up with somebody or have a place that you know that you can ask questions, right? Whether it's with a coach or if it's just a support group that is familiar with competing in bodybuilding, even if it's just going to a show and understanding what the different categories are, because I think that's another big thing. Like Kristi was saying, know what works best for your body and don't try to put yourself into a box. Like don't do the square egg round hole, right? Like take your time, learn, know what you're going to be most successful at, and go in without any expectations. Go in to have fun.
Absolutely.
Go in thinking that you're chasing this pro card and you want to be like Instagram famous or whatever. Like you're doing it for the wrong reasons, right? So take your time and just enjoy it and have fun and learn and soak it all in and help it make you a better, healthier person.
Absolutely. I would have to say my first phase training back in 2006, there were not a lot of resources available. So everyone should take advantage of everything that's out there now. I don't even remember if we had social media. It might have just started. That really ages me, but there's so much out there now for everyone.
That's true. Yeah, it's been a blessing for sure to have access to so much. A curse sometimes, but a blessing. I think overall, for sure. Well, ladies, after our chat today, gosh, I'm certain that there's no doubt you have landed in the most perfect places for you in this sport. I'm just so excited for both of you, and I wish you both the best as you prep for Yorton and beyond. Thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. You're welcome. And for our audience out there, stay tuned for our other interviews. We're going to be following pros both before. Oh, but this is so perfect. You don't understand. No, you might, because Rue, Sully's dog Rue barks in every episode and makes a cameo. So now you have to tell us your dog's name. Come on.
Hershey, just like the chocolate.
Hershey.
Yes. And
hi, Hershey.
She is I think she's 11 now, but she's a Catahoula mix. And she is coming up to tell me that it is almost time for her dinner.
Okay. Okay. So some of us use alarms and some of us have four-legged friends to tell us.
That's right.
When it's time. Oh my gosh. Well, I'm so excited to end on that note. That was just perfect. And like I said, stay tuned for the other interviews. We look forward to bringing you all more. And on behalf of Sully, Aubrey, Tracy, Kristi, and me, train hard, be safe, stay natural.